Hello everyone, I'm going to present on the company We Are Wellness. They are a brokerage firm for worksite wellness, which means that they work with external vendors for those organizations that are wanting to implement a worksite wellness program. I interviewed the VP of Corporate Wellness at We Are Wellness. So a little bit of background information about the interview that I conducted. The company is We Are Wellness. As I mentioned before, they work as a worksite health promotion program brokerage company. They are located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I interviewed Billy Barrios, who is the Vice President of Corporate Wellness, and he's also a certified Corporate Wellness Manager. Within this presentation, I'll cover how the company works, how they find health promotion programs for these organizations, and about the position itself as a consultant for the external vendors. So the first question is, what is We Are Wellness? What is this company all about? So employees at We Are Wellness work as brokers for organizations who are seeking a worksite health promotion program. They use external vendors, and they have a library of about 20 plus online health and wellness program platforms, which you can call those vendors. The vendor then works with the organization to tailor the online program to the organization and its employees. So it's specific for that program, just slightly tweaked, and make it more personalized for them. That includes their name, their logo, and marketing for them. It can also take up to 60 days to create the program and get it to launch. The one that is specific for each organization. How many employees and what are their roles and educational backgrounds? So Wayne Faison is the Chief Wellness Officer. He's a Worksite Wellness Program Manager, and he is also certified as the Corporate or Worksite Wellness Specialist. He works on the marketing, planning, and travel, conferences, branding, and insurance, and some other things as well. Billy Barrios, who I interviewed, he's the Vice President of Corporate Wellness. He went to school at UF for journalism, but spent his past career in marketing. He then changed direction to corporate wellness. He is certified as a corporate wellness manager, so he doesn't have like the background in undergrad or anything in worksite wellness or in health education, but he does have that certification. He wanted to learn about the foundation of corporate wellness since he would be working directly with organizations that want to adopt a corporate wellness program, and he knew that that was important to get that education in order to do that and be successful. There are also 4 to 5 producing agent team members, and he described them as basic components for companies, or they look for basic components for companies such as dental and vision plans, so they're just marketing those to organizations. Their backgrounds are in marketing and they have health knowledge. I asked Mr. Barrios what led him to his current position in worksite wellness consulting. He gave me 3 different answers. The first was that he wanted a change and he had a connection in this field with worksite wellness. He also said that this specific job spoke to him because he likes to make a difference in people's health and to have the possibility for early detection of diseases and to catch some serious conditions early on. He also believes in preventative care, which is along the same lines of that. What does it mean to be a worksite health promotion program consultant? So many companies want to use an outside vendor for their employee wellness program. They link between those businesses who want to incorporate wellness programs but doesn't want to put in the time or the effort. They find out the needs, goals, and wants of the organization and the employees and match them with the best online wellness platform to make a difference in their company. They work to find the best prices for those organizations, and they must understand the importance of worksite wellness programs, health needs of employees, and benefits related to it. The next question that I asked Mr. Barrios is there a minimum organization size that you work with? He answered that it depends on the vendor and what they offer the platform for. He said that many of the vendors have increased their minimum employees to closer to 1,000 employees, which is a lot larger than I had in mind when he was first speaking about the organization that he works with. This makes it a challenge for him, the consultant, because the businesses with 100 to 500 employees or around that number, if they want to use an outside vendor, then they're very limited because they don't have the number to be able to use those online platforms that require a lot more. He said that the platforms that have raised their minimum to 1,000 employees, they do it because there's just not much money in working with organizations that have less employees. Do you complete an evaluation for the impact of the programs? No, they don't. The evaluations are the organization's responsibility, so they can pull monthly reports anytime through the vendor, and those are usually built into the program, and they analyze the data, give them all their reports, so they can see how successful it is within their organization. However, the consultant does follow up with the organization and the vendor to make sure that they are getting what they intended. Specifically, Mr. Barrios said that he sits in on the quarterly and monthly calls to show his value and to be there for them, and also be there to find a new program if they are stagnant in their current program. So he will go out, look at all the other online platforms that might be a better fit for that organization if it's just not working out for them. What are the objectives of We Are Wellness? So what is important to them? He told me that for organizations to partner with them to find an online platform to implement in their worksite setting, so that's their main goal. They're looking for the lowest cost for their client and organization for that worksite wellness program. The consultant company also gets a percentage of what the employer pays per month. So that's how they make their money. And then also for the organization and employees to see results and like what they are getting with the platform that they find for them. Then from there, if they like it, they'll continue to get a percentage of that program that's being used. If they quit that program, they're not working through We Are Wellness anymore, then they have lost that client. How do you know which program to recommend to the client? Mr. Barrios stressed the importance of him understanding the vendors and also each organization and the employee's needs. The contact person, which is usually an HR administrator, doesn't always know what is wanted or needed by the company. Sometimes they come to him and they say they want a worksite wellness program because someone told them to, or the employees want it. But he said that it's important for them to know why it's needed. So he'll send a worksite wellness employee survey for the employees to complete. That's especially if they don't know what they need, but he'll also send it many times either way to find out more answers. They then do a trial run for the program before they implement it, which involves 2 to 4 demos from the program, and usually 10 employees will try it out. And they'll have incentives for those 10 employees. So if it works well for those 10 employees, it has a better chance for working well for the rest of the organization. And then they follow it up with a formal proposal and implementation date scheduled for them to start the program at the organization. I also wanted to know whether they work with the client's budgets. He said that the consultant will try to ask about the budget, but many times they won't disclose that information. They just know what program they want after they've worked together, and then he'll contact the vendor to get the lowest cost per employee for that program. For example, an organization that he's working with is using the WellRight platform, and it's $4.50 per employee per month. So he just gets that cost for them, and they adopt the program. How much input do you have in the costs of the program? So I was curious on whether he had wiggle room in making the cost of the program cheaper depending on the organization that he's working with, and he said he does have that ability, so he'll make the proposal to the vendor and try to get the lowest cost for the client. I also asked him, is it cheaper for the organization to use an external vendor than creating a self-administered program? He says yes in many cases, but it's also beneficial mostly because it's less work for the client. They already have it, it's already created. You can make the investment and they do everything for you. And then also you can work to get the lowest cost. So one organization may pay lower per employee than another organization does just because they have that consultant who got them that lower cost. What areas of health does We Are Wellness help employers find for their employees? So We Are Wellness partners with 20 and more health vendors which address a variety of health for employees. He said that there are endless amounts of vendors out there that they could partner with. Right now they have many more than I listed, but I just put a handful on here. So some of those vendors include Virgin Pulse, which is nutrition, stress levels, wellness, seminars, and more. Farm to Fork, which is nutrition and creating healthy meals. Telemedicine, which is easy access for healthcare and anything regarding or needing a doctor. Pure Fit, which is fitness. Decadu tracks and manages your health score. Go 365 is health assessments, tracks healthy actions including workouts, physical exams, flu shots, and then you get points for that, and you obviously want to get more points by having a healthy life. And then OcuVax is a different example, and that's just they bring flu shots on site. So I was also curious what kinds of participation rates they see with their clients' employees, and he said with those organizations that they work with, on average, only about 20% of employees use the wellness programs, which is extremely low. That means that 80% of the employees are not using the program. And the organization pays for every employee to use it. So whether they're using it or not, they're paying a certain amount of money per employee. The organization wants all employees to participate because they're already paying for them. So if you think about those 1,000 employee companies and say they're paying $4 per employee, that's a lot of money that they're putting towards worksite wellness program, and they're not getting anything out of it. So how this relates to We Are Wellness is if there's a good participation rate, then that's better success for those employees, and that means that the organization is going to keep the program. And if they keep the program, every month they get that percentage of what the organization is paying. So a little bit more about those organizations that We Are Wellness works with. I asked, are there incentives used at the organizational and individual level? And he said yes, many companies have incentives at the organization level to implement a wellness program. And one of the main ones is keeping the claims costs down, because those can get very expensive, so that benefits the organization, so the employer is not paying as much. Also, there's insurance benefits, and then at the individual level, for those employees, they give out Amazon gift cards and many other awards. They have gold, silver, bronze awards, and some prizes and a bunch of other things as well. What is one of the biggest reasons for companies to adopt a health promotion program at the company? He told me that preventative care for employees is extremely important, and that is on the up and coming, which we know from all of our other classes we've learned. Claims cost is one of the main priorities of organizations that he works with. Claims cost is shown to be one of the largest benefits financially for the organization, because it can be so much money that they save. How does that work? A little bit about claims cost is major illnesses cost the employers much more because they pay the rest of the bill after the deductible. So comparing, like, if someone gets the flu and needs to go to the doctor compared to if someone gets a chronic illness or cancer, the employer is going to pay a lot of money. So it benefits them to implement these worksite wellness programs because they can make them healthier, and then hopefully later down the road they won't get those sicknesses and won't need all of that care. I also asked Mr. Barrios how he finds his clients and how his clients find him. He said that he works through a contact person, which is usually human relations administrators at organizations. They either can reach him or he'll reach out to them. Many times he'll market at HR-focused conferences, so those HR administrators have to go to continued education conferences similar to other professions, and he'll go there and inform them and educate them on the benefits of worksite wellness programs and how they work and why it's important to implement one at their organization. He also uses webinar series and business cards at booths. What makes the client choose your company? He said lower rates. So because he can make the cost of the program lower, then they will want to come to him. He works with their needs, so he specifically asks them what their organization needs. And he takes the time and works as the gatekeeper because they don't want to take the time to create or find one. So many organizations, which I didn't really know before talking to him, but many organizations want that external vendor because they don't have to hire new staff or fire them if it doesn't work. They don't have to build a whole new gym. They can just buy an online platform that's tailored to them, and everything is done for them already, so it's worth the money. I asked Mr. Barrios what goes on at the webinars. I wasn't exactly sure. He said that they invite human relations administrators to attend these webinars, and they have a vendor present information about worksite wellness in general, as well as the specifics to the online platform. Then they gauge further interest in those clients that go as well, and hopefully they adopt one of the programs. An example of some of the marketing that goes on at webinars is they create a customized program and incentives, personalize and build healthy habits, gain actionable insights, and optimize performance. Trying to sell those worksite wellness programs to the clients that come to the webinars. What are the biggest challenges you face as a consultant? Time is one challenge, and the organization is measuring, is this program working for them? And that takes time and data, and many times the organization doesn't have patience, and within a year or however long, they come back and say that the program is not working and that they want to switch programs because they don't see results. And it's frustrating for the consultant because they told them in the beginning that many of the benefits and results could take up to 3 years. So if you don't give it that time, then you're not going to see those results. Also, it takes time for the vendor to prepare and formalize proposals, as well as for the HR administrators to adopt the program. So sometimes if it takes time for that program to be implemented, the HR administrators will lose interest in the organization, put the program on the back burner, and We Are Wellness will lose them as a client. Engagement is also a big challenge because you want to find a program and a platform that suits all different formats and is accessible for all employees, all ages and abilities. So for example, people who are disabled, or a 55-year-old example that don't know how to use technology well, or those who are close to retirement. You want to find a program that's going to interest all of them and engage them so that they want to use the program. For example, We Are Wellness has a client, which is Omaha Airport Authority, and it's made of 50-plus-year-old baggage hands. So you don't have to find a program that would be necessarily physical activity because they're doing physical labor every day, but maybe they need to retain employees or work on back pain or exhaustion. So finding that specific need and getting that engagement is important. What advice would you give a company looking for a wellness program? He said, ask internally why adopt a wellness program. Every company is different, and finding the real source of need for the employees will help the program be more pertinent to the employees, therefore making a bigger difference in their health and having higher rates of use. So finding that that source of need is probably the best advice that he could give, because then you can have better success of the program. Lastly, I asked him, do you have any advice for students aspiring to find future employment in worksite health promotion? He said to get further certification in worksite wellness. So if you're specifically going to work in that field, there are other certifications that you can get that will just help you be more qualified. Those include WellCOA, National Wellness Institute, Corporate Health and Wellness certifications. I think for us, because we are in this field, we will have a great understanding of worksite wellness programs and organizations that are looking for those. But specifically, if you aren't already qualified, then those would be very important. To conclude my presentation, I've included a summary. So We Are Wellness involves the business side of worksite wellness. They use external vendors to partner with in order to provide worksite wellness programs for organizations. You need passion for worksite wellness and health in order to benefit you as a consultant. I believe this would be very important in this job, and understanding the platforms and programs and wanting to find the best suited program for the organization is important as a consultant, as well as marketing, because you are marketing the worksite wellness programs and benefits and health for employees, as well as lower costs for the programs. And I believe that these sort of consultants will be the future of worksite wellness, because it's another option for organizations to adopt worksite wellness programs if they don't have internal resources or don't want to create a internal program.